Hey, what's going on? It's Joe Rock. I figured it'd be kind of cool if I invited you in to check out my record collection and see some of the albums that really changed my life. So it actually turned out to be today, December 14th of 1979, that The Clash released their London Calling album. This is a double album. This was such a game changer for me. I mean, first of all, one of the cool things about it, when you bought records, they had the stickers on the plastic on the outside. You'd rip them off so you could put them in and save them. It's been a couple years since 1979, so I've lost some of them. But like I said, a double album, so we'll take the albums out. It wasn't a gatefold. And one of the cool things about this, some great artwork on this album, especially here. The cover, Paul Simonon, the bass player, smashing his bass at the Palladium in New York City in September of 1979, just a few months before it came out. And they actually kind of based this off of an Elvis Presley album cover with the same colors that said like Elvis Presley. So there was just so much to it. And then the different kinds of music. Of course, there was punk because we're talking about The Clash. But then you also had ska, you had reggae. And even with all of that, they had horn sections that show up on this album. And very funny, if you look at all this, it lists all the tracks. Side 4, it lists 4 songs. There's actually 5. Nowhere on any of the artwork. You take a look at everything for all the artwork for this album. It never mentions anything more than 4 songs on side 4. Even if you take a look at the labels, let's see. Now it's side 1 and 2, so we'll get this 3 and 4. So here, even if you were to zoom in and see side 4, it never mentions a 5th song. But if you look, you can see that there's a 5th song. That song, Train in Vain. It was actually supposed to be on a flexi disc that went into a magazine, and it was just left on the tapes for the album when they printed it up. They made it along with it. It became one of the biggest hits for the band. But it was very interesting what The Clash did because they had a feel for all over the world. You look at the titles of some of the songs, The Guns of Brixton, Spanish Bombs. They were writing about things all over the world. Now, this album was released just a couple days before my 14th birthday. And as a 14-year-old kid, it blew my mind. It opened up the entire world to me to look out and see what was going on. Especially like the song Spanish Bombs has some Spanish lyrics in it. I went to one of the Spanish teachers in my high school and asked if she could interpret it for me because I didn't understand it because I took French. And it was like all different things like that. The song Lost in the Supermarket. So many songs from this album really have endured. And this is an album that is required to be in your record collection. If you don't have London Calling in your record collection, go out and buy it now. Easily, they talk about those Desert Island discs, the 10 albums you need to have. This is absolutely one of those albums for me. The Clash, part of my holy trinity of rock and roll. Springsteen, Dylan, and Joe Strummer from The Clash. And Joe was just such a cool cat that you could see what he did, but not just him. Mick Jones, Paul Simonon, who we mentioned on bass, Topper Hedden on the drums. This was a band that had it down tight and really made this album that honestly changed my life. And I'd love to know the albums that changed your life. You can let me know some of them in the comments. Thanks for checking this out.